Waiting for Jordan to get back on. Just a little bit.
Oh,
Hey, brother, how you doing?
good. There we
Yeah,
go.
don't know
Sorry,
what happened up there.
I canceled or turned off my
Yeah.
VPN. I just checked it and I dusted the 3K. Maybe I'll fire the 2 more during that. So maybe it was my VPN causing
Might
that.
as well. So Pwn Loader isn't on the call with us, but he has some pretty good slot stories. But I think he hit for like a cumulative total of like $3 million in slots in 1 week.
That's disgusting. That beats me.
One was like
Hard.
1.68 and like something else, and they got him in like consecutive days. To which everyone in the Weetards chat said you could be the best slot player that ever lived. You can if you quit today. And I don't think he quit. So
Neither did I. Have a similar one. I guess so. I finished sharing what it was at Sopo. I think it's important for anyone that's listening. Is like,
yeah,
we have spent a lot of time focusing on U.S. compliance and sweepstakes, and being the first Apple Google will have crypto on ramps and off ramps for U.S. citizens approved in Apple for SOPO. WPT poker players may know, but WPT Gold kind of jacked the sweepstakes idea from us after trying to acquire us last year.
right.
They don't actually own their tech. I want to do a lot with crypto too, so we partnered with State Kings to build SOPO Pro out under a different license, which will enable crypto and be the one on Abstract and Solana. And I think there's a way that we'll come up with. We're working on a couple cool things I think will be very rewarding for early users and people that play a lot. I'm not going to make any promises or say anything here, but we are exploring to make sure users are treated very, very, very well, and that it's super advantageous to jump on the platform early. And so I'll kind of leave it at that. I think the SOPO stuff will roll out and speak for itself soon, but that is my only job. It's the only thing I care about. Poker is so fun. Poker is such a good sport mentally. It's so good for life and learning how to risk manage it. It translates to almost every facet. I think U.S. citizens have been deprived of it. It's a very social game. You can make business partners. You can make friends at a poker table.
I agree with all that. Like I played poker with Ben Affleck and Jerry Buss when he was in the Lakers. I played poker with some of the most amazing business guys, and when I was in law school, I had tremendous anxiety, and so I would get nervous every time I took a test, whatever else. And then I started playing high stakes poker, and you learn how to develop these skills where you're making, decisions and calculating math and learning what the best decision is in a short period of time under a lot of pressure and money. And as I did that over time, I became, very good at it. And I think that it got me into crypto. It got me into a million other things. I think poker is an amazing app, and I think using SOPO as opposed to like poker, all these TG apps where you're relying on like these people to pay you or whatever else. And I think it's much easier for these guys to collude on these weird ass, guilds of people that are just trying to like get you to log in and lose some money real quick. You have like a reputable site that's been backed up by Apple and everything else that you can really, you can get one money and save.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. Like, right, even if people run zero rate games, and then there's a guy sitting at the table that gets a cut from, someone they bring in, and it's just it's a gross ecosystem right now, and a compliant version is needed. Young people in college are playing poker. It needs to be safe. It needs to be scaled. It also needs to be made cool. Like, let's be honest, poker's kind of fucking gay. Like,
yeah.
all the people are just, it's overly quant. It hasn't been made actually cool. Kind of like the old heads will get pissed, maybe in a way that how Jake Paul and Logan Paul, revived boxing there for a second, and the old people were pissed off.
But it's true. Like there is some pros I want to play with, but I don't want to play with like 90% of these fucking pros or these Euros with fucking headphones on. I want to play with like some cool guys that are business guys just like me that want to have a good time, want to have some fun, want to have some laughs, and don't want to fucking like take all my fucking money. They just want to have a good time. Like, yeah, we want to win. But like if I'm playing in a pro game, if you go to Vegas and I want to play a high stakes game, I got a bunch of pro guys that are just like treating me like I'm their best fucking friend because they want me to sit down in this game and like, get rinsed. Like I want to play in a social poker game with guys that are in crypto. We all have the same skill level, and we're just having some drinks and having a good time.
100%. It's like golf in many ways, right? Like there's a social element to it that can yield friendships, that business and relationships that last a lifetime. I
Yeah.
think it's like a skill everyone should learn. And like you said, like the overly serious element of poker is awful. Like our generation is a very gambling generation, but nobody's like trying to spin up, a satellite ticket into $10 million. Like that just doesn't exist anymore. It's more the boomer view of poker. We want to go in, we want to splash around, have a beer, not be over quant, no one sitting with headphones, and just talk and play. So like that's really the ethos that we've approached this with. But going back to your point of slots, like that's a crazy run Ponzi had. I think my biggest run was $600.
Yeah, it wasn't. Yeah, to tell a story, but it wasn't Ponzi. It was Pwn Lord, and Pwn Lord's like gonna start streaming gambling as well. But the guy's a spectacular gambler. But go ahead.
No, that's awesome. I think I got really lucky, just truly like super lucky. But I somehow I'm a winning slots player, which makes no fucking sense. But I turned $600 over a course of like 3 days on auto spins on Sopo Zoom calls, actually, which was fucking hilarious, right? If you're on like a Zoom call and you just get into a bonus that's just fucking ripping and you're like trying to keep a normal face when you're on that call as if that's not going on. And I remember I turned like 600, maybe a couple soul into like 20 or 60K. And then on that same Zoom, it hit again. And I was at like 100K. And then I hit the next day, I was having a major surgery on my wrist and I was just like bored and the doctor forgot I had it sitting there. Fired it up, got it to like 150, 200K on another bonus. So I'm already like, this is crazy. And I called my younger brother because I wanted to give him some crypto at the time, just in celebration. And I max spun, I think at the time it was Retardio Casino. I think it's like $50 spins on what is the Huff and Puff derivative, the whatever Huff and Puff derivative, and it actually did hit $1,000. So then it was that hit for, so I think it was like total in a course of like 72 hours, 600 got spun up to like 400K. Probably gave like at least a quarter of that back, and then have since moved my volume to Yeet. I really like the Yeet guys. I cannot speak highly enough of Ben, of KBM. I don't know Mando personally, but I mean, everything that the team does is great. I think that it is hands down the best crypto casino right now online. The UI is perfect. The team actually gives a fuck about the users and the players. And as someone who just gambles for the enjoyment of it, it's definitely been, the most enjoyable. I've had issues with Rollbit before. I've had issues with almost all of them. Rollbit kicked me off. I was 1,000x long Doge for $20 bullets that I got like 4 of them to stick. That got up to 25K per bullet at like 12 cents. They're worth 25K per bullet on 1,000x, and they tried to KYC my account and they locked it, and it took me a whole war for them just to close the position to get my money back. They were trying to not give it back at all.
Wow.
When the positions were open. So I think that Yeet is backed by just like really honest, good people. I've had a chance to work with them closely. I think we'll end up continuing to find ways to work with each other at scale through Sopo. We have partnerships with them right now, but I really would like to platform and triumph those guys as awesome, because I think the space is so filled with just you're saying people want to rinse you when you play poker. Like crypto and gambling might be the 2 most grifty, scammy spaces to be in. So when you meet a group of people that are just genuine, I think that is enough to build relationships a long way. And I think they have the best product.
I agree. Like, when you have, and just to sidetrack a little bit, but like I've learned a lot from investing. I've done a lot of angel investing, VC investing, crypto investing. And like now, like one things I've learned 100% is like, if I want to find a founder, like in say for Yeet or like Keyboard and Mando, some of the smartest guys I've ever met in my life, but like I have to trust them. They have to be passionate about what they want to do. Like Keyboard loves games, Ben Lamb loves games. Mando's like a turbo genius. You're super passionate about poker. You're a lawyer. You're analytical, theoretical about the space, passionate about the space. Like just the same conviction I have in Bitcoin, you have in Ethereum. And when you have all these mixtures of things combined with the fact that you're investing your own money into that company, like if anyone out there is investing in a company, if that founder doesn't have like at least 20% of or more of his net worth in that company, then you should not invest in that company. And so
100%. 100%. Like the grind days of you putting all of your net worth into your own company is the important part, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Like, you should, as a founder, question. You should cry some nights in despair. You should question if you're fucking insane.
Yeah.
You know, the risk should be full risk on if you want to go do that, or otherwise you're just playing with VC money. You know, people will even celebrate raises or celebrate all these things that actually aren't success.
And I don't think they should ever celebrate that. Like I when someone celebrates a raise, I think that's just fucking bullshit. Like
it's so bearish. It's so fucking bearish.
It's so bearish on the thing. Like, and I know, unfortunately, because I've been around crypto so long, I know so many people are scammers that raise money and do these things. And like, and the thing that sucks is like everyone such a short memory in crypto. No one burns these people for it, but there are some good companies out there and people that are building and how the incentives are aligned with their personal net worth and your investment. They usually go do a lot better.
And I think like especially in 2017, 2020, right? You had that layer above founders where you had a bunch of VCs who were like, hey, we could take a semi dumbass founder, their company's $5 or $10 million, 3, 5, 10. We could buy it and we have the network to tokenize it, right? And back in the day, you could tokenize fucking anything in the ICO run. And the founder's still the face of it. And he has no idea that basically they're just exiting his company through like whatever they run to tokenize it. So that's why we've been around. Like the infrastructure was everything to me. Owning the tech was everything to me. Building a real business and revenue was everything to me. We've had the fun fairs. We've had the coin pokers. You can exit all the time by just dropping a token and it goes to zero. And I don't like that at all. I think there are sustainable methods to do a token. I think if you look at poker, it's very similar to trading in the way that revenue is generated, right? So Hyperliquid generates revenue from volume. That's as long as there's volume, they're making money. And as long as there's player liquidity and volume in poker, you're raking and making money. And so there's ways to avoid these stupid governance tokens and all these nonsense and just cut through that, especially maybe in this admin where you could view poker very similarly to the way Hyperliquid has and create tokens that have a reflexive aspect similar to if they were equity because the team handles them with.
Well, they do that, and they do that live poker too. Like if you play the bicycle, I don't know if they do this anymore, but the bicycle casino, if you logged in over 40 hours, they pay you a certain amount of money per hour, and then give you free food. So like if you do that, I don't know what you're doing with your platform, but if there's similar things like that, I mean, then it incentivizes everyone. Everyone has a little bit of equity in the business, you know?
Correct. I think we have something really cool for Sopo Pro plan. And I think it'll be very rewarding for early users. And I think it'll be, everyone likes to joke about being like, you know, the Hyperliquid of airdrop. But I think if you break down the mechanics of why Hyperliquid was able to be successful, it's because they're able to draw that volume, which draws those fees, which then go into the buyback burns. And they gave a very, very fair allocation spread to their early users. I actually I think one of the best airdrops, and will only continue to get better, was Luca. I mean, Luca crushed the Pengu airdrop and giving it at a huge disbursement. And I think everyone's initial, which people don't talk about enough, in my opinion, because everyone thought at the beginning that was going to be just like this thing for pudgy holders.
Yeah.
And it's not. That's so clear now. And no one is really giving the flowers of how difficult that was to have an actual token scale past the NFT holders that reached a low and rebounded back to an all-time high and has brought in new people. And so giving like a huge airdrop, like unless you're here to grift, you should be able to reward users that are early. It's very doable. And if there's a business behind it that drives revenue, then a buyback burn at a super high degree makes a lot of sense. Again, you have to have a revenue driver. And a lot of them don't. That's part of the problem. They have no revenue drivers. They just grift off of a token, and then you have endless unlocks. But if there's a real business and a token behind it, I think it can make sense. So like we're really excited for what we're going to do here with the Sopo Pro version, not just the US version.
Yeah, and you know, I'm really excited for it too. And I think we're going to run some of these maybe a couple of poker tournaments through Liquidated if that's cool with you. I think you were talking to some of my people about it, so.
We actually already we have I'll have someone pull, but we have a custom felt made for you guys and have a sponsorship for your guys' community. So just hit me up after and we'll make sure that you guys can run games for prizes like this week at scale, at size. You know, maybe with that other 2K on Yeet when I could throw more power on my computer, I'll get it back up and hit something that I could hopefully give away further to you guys. But props to what you guys are doing. I think that crypto media is like the most important thing for scaling that's like not cringy. And we have lived through so much cringy bullshit media. I think Thread Guy was awesome. So I know like and Razmir. I fuck with Razmir. I don't know him that well I met him once or twice, but those guys are actually making content that's cool and funny. And I know that guy got wrapped up in a lot of stuff, but he had back in the day, he had a pimp coat mutant. And I had a pimp coat mutant, and we would talk, and like the dude's put in the work. He's been in the space. He's actually cool. He's good.
Yeah, the guy grinds. I'm a big fan of him. These some of the younger guys. I met Raspberry a couple of times. I appreciate his work ethic so far. But we'll see how that all turns out. But I think there's some good guys in the space, and I think Ansem's a great main character. I mean, the guy,
the best, bro.
He hasn't gone down yet. It's incredible. Good for him.
The best. And Ansem's so good at, I'll be honest, like I got really close to him because early on I wanted, and this goes back to the Sopo Pro and like the potential of kind of what we want to do with the token, but I wanted I wanted everyone involved to be not a KOL for an affiliate. To like come in and be a part of the culture. So that way we could reward all these communities. So I forced everyone that came in to actually invest, whether it was small or large. And I got to know Ansem really deeply through that. And I'll say that the guy is such a good human.
He's such a great guy. Like and I've had a great relationship with him too. And that's what you need in this space. You need good people that, that's where longevity comes. If you just want to grip through this space, you get burned pretty quick.
Yeah, and credit to where I think nobody even gives it to him. Like, imagine the mental health. Like, you just wake up and everyone's just calling you the N-word, right? Like, as soon as you wake up, you're like, what the fuck? People are telling you that you grifted and scammed. He's lived through this for 2 years straight and having a good time living his life. Yeah. And it's like, how can you say that this guy, right, is this bad person? And no one's perfect, but I mean, fuck, like if you didn't buy Soul or Whiff when he was shilling it nonstop early on, like that's on you. He gave everyone multiples on coins, like the most multiples that we have seen since probably a Pepe. And yet everyone wants to go hate him because he actually made us look cool for once, which, we didn't have in crypto. We didn't really have I used to joke and say like, we're the new rappers, right? Like streamers are the new rappers. Like you had this group of crypto kids from New York and other parts, Texas too, who really were cool, good guys. The Mog guys, like I really can't say enough of like their work ethic. I think crypto's at a different spot now culturally where these leaders will shine. And super shout out to Ansem. Like the dude's the best. It's undeniable. He's goated. He's goated at handling media. He's goated at fucking bringing in what? He's hanging out with Kanye. He's hanging out with Izzy. Like all this stuff because of his ability to move in a room and not take things overly personally and handle the fame while also making everyone money. It was harder to lose money.
And he takes fights, he's taking fights out there. He's all, you know what I mean?
Yeah, everyone should support that. And I have a hard stance on that. But even the other people, like I think the best advice I could even give anyone that's like trying to come in crypto and make money is like focus less on these trading bots and focus less on these immediate metas and the tech behind it and really put time and work into like navigating CT and start figuring out who's actually in control. Like, you don't have to be a part of any cabal to kind of socially analyze which people are in control, which people are good actors, and which coins they're supporting, and then spot trends before they happen. And that's really hard.
Yeah, I think that's it. I think the part of that is tough for a lot of people is they don't have the capital. But like, I don't trade, and I traded a little bit for the first time like 2025. Like, and I think I did like close to mid 7 figs. Like, but just waiting for the right opportunity. If you're following the right people like Flood or Ansem or whoever else, and you have some size to put the money in, like there'll be obvious trades there. Like
for sure.
You'll find that hyper liquid. You'll find that BT sitting at 50K, it's gonna go to 100. Like there's no way it's not. Like you just file, So.
And I'll take the other side of that too, for what it's worth. I think every cycle I've been able to take a very, very, very small amount of money. Like I turned to poker early because I had to pay for law school, but and then I had to pay for Sopo when I was bootstrapping it. But I was able to turn 4 figures, spin it up into 7 pretty much every cycle. And I think that means the work to do that is, if you don't have a big bankroll, right, and you can't be patient and wait for the market to be right, it's just stay online, stay a part of this culture, stay on Twitter, see what's going on. Don't leave in a bear market. I actually think the easiest time ever to make money in crypto is in a bear market. You're not gonna reap the rewards of that
right away.
Yeah, but the noise is cut out. You're able to see the trends early, and then you just have to bet and hold and risk manage and manage your own psyche effectively. But I don't even believe when there's a narrative going around now when people talk about the asymmetric upside in crypto is done. I so strongly disagree with that. People said that last cycle and the cycle before. I think the asymmetric upside in Bitcoin is relatively gone. Like, I think its correlation to gold is clear. Like, that's its next step. And I'm actually become more bullish on Bitcoin than I have my entire cycle until now. I think it's so obvious where it's going. I'm super bullish Bitcoin. But there's always going to be these like new possibilities as frontiers open up and possibilities unlock with those frontiers. So, you saw the NFTs, no one predicted that. I'm sure ordinals and runes can catch another narrative. And I'm sure that the more we put things on chain in real world, will create more opportunities for things that nobody's thinking of right now. And so I think staying terminally online is very important. Even more so than working a minimum wage job. Like,
and I do agree. Like, if there is another bear market, like I was buying Bitcoin pretty heavily at 15,000 last cycle. But that being even said, like I wasn't paying attention to like the next narrative with memes and everything else. Like, I feel like with a little bit of money, you are right. If I would have if there is another bear market, I'm going to be paying attention much more to what the new narratives are going to be and trying to get in those as early as possible.
Yeah, and I think people like to think of it from like almost like a better than you or on some sort of high horse when they say that, because if we ultimately all believe that crypto is here to stay, if we believe that Bitcoin's here to stay, what does that mean for a year, 10 years, 100 years? I think we all think it's a part of the future, including Ethereum, right? So if a kid is 10 years old now who grew up with a computer and he's fully immersed in a digital era, you don't think that he's going to want to hold Bitcoin, even if Bitcoin approaches $1 million? Of course he is. Like, how does he get that though if he's late just because of his age? Well, it's going to be through these betas. People are always going to trade betas because at the end of the day, it allows them to stack, the bigger currency that they want to get. So this concept that market makers and, Ponzi lords, for lack of better words, or cabals aren't going to create these markets is just dumb. Young kids are going to come in who were not blessed to be born earlier enough to buy a whole Bitcoin. They're still going to want it, and they're going to not have any means to acquiring it unless they trade up. And so there naturally a market will be created no matter what for betas to allow people to multiply their ETH or multiply their BTC or whatever that may be, because it's the only way to get up. But kids are going to want a Bitcoin. So as it goes up, this concept that the game just becomes like an obsolete except for Bitcoin is kind of, it would actually be a net negative to Bitcoin overall because it'd have less liquid buyers, like, to be frank. So I think these internet markets are actually like really important and really good. And there will always be some upside, because I could say if I was 12 years old right now and fully immersed online, this would all make sense to me. I played Fortnite. I understand the idea, right? Like, whether it's RuneScape, World of Warcraft, whatever, like, kids get digital items. That makes total sense to them. So if you put it on chain and give markets to it, kids will start hustling and finding ways to flip up to a BTC. So betas aren't going away. Asymmetric upside isn't done. It may be done in the majors, but there will always be an opportunity in this space until it matures much more than a decade. Yeah,
I think prediction markets are going to be pretty interesting too over the next few years.
I'm like so in the middle on prediction markets. I have like different takes. Yeah, I think like I'm me personally, I like to just gamble and not have to worry about trading my gamble. So like, I'm not like the best target for prediction markets. And then I also think prediction markets can become like subject to harsh scrutiny or regulation if we go for full deregulation of them, because bad actors will come in and take advantage of certain predictions. But I think they're very cool. It's a cypherpunk. I mean, if you go back to like any of the early like Nick Land and some of those cypherpunk readings, it always talked about ending up with like death-based prediction markets and like really dark stuff. So like, I think it'll be a part of society. I don't know if I'm like the biggest believer at the moment. It almost seems like everyone is trying to build now a prediction market. I'm like 50-50 on prediction market sustainability, but
I guess we'll see. But I gotta head to my ice bath and all that other shit, doing recovery now. I just trained for like 2 hours this morning. I'm fighting in Singapore in October. I'm still figuring out who my opponent is.
Someone that you can bet more than 187,000 for. You gotta get that back.
I don't know how to get that. I had to sell. I ran up my stock portfolio from like 500 to like 1.4, and then I gotta take 2 out to pay for the fucking. But I'm disputing that. Like, I think I got scammed. So for anyone that doesn't know, I went to the club in the Hamptons and spent allegedly 167,000 at the club. You know, but who knows? We're gonna dispute that and see what the fuck happened. But wasn't a fun night out in the Hamptons.
Cheers, bro. Thanks for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Brother.
I'll hit you up after this, and we'll do it again soon.